The moment I'm on and singing, I'm fine. It's the moment before.
Cher isn't just a singer, she's a survival instinct in rhinestones. She's outlived trends, marriages, disco, auto-tune, and half the industry that once called her over. Her voice still hits like a thunderclap wrapped in velvet. Her voice still hits like a thunderclap wrapped in velvet. From the hippie shimmer of I Got You Babe to the futuristic shimmer of Believe, Cher didn't just chase eras, she redesigned them. She was the first to turn heartbreak into high fashion, tragedy into choreography, and auto-tune into weaponry. But for all the attitude and eyeliner, Cher's always been a storyteller. The songs she loves most aren't about glamour, they're about survival, loss, defiance, second chances. She once said, "Music doesn't lie, it just remembers."
I don't know why I said the things I said.
Now, at 79, with the same sharp tongue and sharper wit, Cher finally revealed her 5 favorite songs of her career. Not the biggest chart hits, but the ones that still make her feel alive when she hears them at night. So grab your leather jacket and emotional armor, because these 5 songs prove that you don't age out of attitude, you just add more sparkle. Number 1. Believe, 1998. When Believe dropped in 1998, the world was deep into boy bands and bubblegum. Cher, she was 52, armed with a vocoder and zero patience for anyone who said her career was over. The song was pure defiance, disguised as a dance track, the sonic version of flipping off time itself. It was the first mainstream hit to use auto-tune not to hide flaws, but to amplify emotion. The producer wanted to fix a few notes. Cher told him, "Make it sound weird." That weird turned into the robotic hook that redefined pop. Every artist who's ever drowned their voice in digital shimmer owes her royalties and gratitude. Believe hit number 1 in 23 countries, sold over 10 million copies, and turned Cher into the oldest woman ever to top the Billboard charts. The industry called it a comeback. She called it Tuesday.
Real, trial. And the judge kicked me out about after.
When asked what the song meant to her, Cher said, "It's not about a man, it's about me. Do you believe in life after doubt?" Leave it to her to turn heartbreak into an empowerment sermon wrapped in glitter. Decades later, she still closes shows with it, a battle cry that never ages. To younger artists, it's nostalgia. To her, it's proof. Proof that pop doesn't belong to the young, it belongs to the fearless. At 79, she still struts out to that same robotic warble and smiles. Because the joke, as always, is on time itself. If this is resonating, tap subscribe and the little bell. We explore the songs that actually mean something. The second song is If I Could Turn Back Time, 1989. When If I Could Turn Back Time hit in 1989, Cher was 43, freshly divorced, newly defiant, and armed with a power ballad that could melt granite. The video became a legend before it even aired. Cher showed up on a battleship in a one-piece outfit that made the Pentagon nervous. MTV banned it during daytime hours. Cher shrugged, and the single went straight to number 1 in 23 countries. Beneath the spectacle, the song was painfully real. She once said, "It's the only one that still makes me emotional when I sing it." Everyone's wished they could take something back. The difference is, she had the voice to turn that regret into fire. Critics tried to make it about the outfit. She made it about the honesty. If I Could Turn Back Time was a confession wrapped in a stadium anthem. Vulnerable, but defiant. Like everything else in her career, it said, "You don't own me. I own the story." 30 years later, she still performs it like a challenge, not to youth, not to critics, but to herself. A reminder that time wins only if you stop dancing. In a business that forgets its icons, Cher didn't turn back time. She bent it. At number 3 is Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves, 1971. In 1971, the world was still calling her Sonny's wife. Then, Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves hit the airwaves, and suddenly, no one could ignore the woman with the smoky voice and sharper lyrics than half the men on radio. The song was gritty and cinematic, a 3-minute movie about poverty, judgment, and survival. It wasn't cute or polished. It was raw Americana, sung by someone who knew what it felt like to be underestimated. The industry wanted glamour. Cher gave them a character study in eyeliner. When it hit number 1, critics were stunned. A TV star wasn't supposed to have depth. But Cher wasn't acting, she was channeling. Years later, she said, "I didn't just sing it. I was that girl. I'd been looked down on my whole life." This song was her emancipation notice. It proved she didn't need Sonny, producers, or approval. Just a story, a mic, and a defiant look. That's when the mythology of Cher, the woman who never dies, never apologizes, and always hits her mark, truly began. The song's still haunting, still political, still relevant. Every generation gets its own outcasts, but only one of them turned that label into an anthem. If Believe was the victory, this was the rebellion. It's where she stopped surviving and started ruling. Coming up at number 4 is Song for the Lonely, 2001. In 2001, the world had just changed, and so had she. While everyone else was trying to process chaos, Cher dropped Song for the Lonely, a track that hit harder than anyone expected. It wasn't just about heartbreak. It was about resilience in the rubble. Originally written as a love song, she reinterpreted it after 9/11. Suddenly, it became a dedication to everyone trying to keep going. Her quote said it all. "When you've been through hell and you're still standing, that's something to sing about." The production was peak early 2000s, big synths, bigger emotion. But underneath the gloss was something ancient, hope, hammered into rhythm. At 55, Cher wasn't trying to sound young, she sounded immortal. Critics barely knew what to do with it. Dance track? Ballad? Protest hymn? Didn't matter. Fans knew. It became one of her most requested songs in concerts for years, especially among people who'd been through loss. When she sang, "For all the people with nowhere to go," it wasn't theatrical. It was personal. This was Cher's battle cry for anyone who's ever outlasted pain. If Believe was her rebirth and Gypsies her rebellion, Song for the Lonely was her prayer, the one that made her legend feel human. And number 5 is Strong Enough, 1998. Released alongside Believe, Strong Enough was the song that said what every woman over 40 had been thinking for years. "You'll regret losing me. I won't regret leaving you." It's disco with claws, and Cher sings it like she's chewing through diamonds. The song was pure empowerment before Girl Boss became a meme. The hook, "I don't need you anymore," wasn't just aimed at lovers. It was aimed at every label, manager, or critic who'd written her off since the 60s. She once said, "They told me I was done so many times I stopped listening." It exploded in clubs and pride parades, becoming a liberation anthem for anyone who's ever had to rebuild from scratch. While pop divas chased trends, Cher kept making declarations. You didn't need to be heartbroken to sing it. You just needed a backbone. Every performance feels like a sermon with sequins. When she hits that final chorus, it's not nostalgia, it's triumph. 50 years into her career, she was still writing songs that sounded like victory laps. For all the heartbreak, controversy, and reinventions, this is the essence of Cher. Never bitter, never beaten, always louder than whatever tried to silence her. Strong Enough isn't just a song. It's the autobiography of a woman who refused to disappear. At 79, Cher isn't reflecting, she's reigning. These 5 songs aren't just hits. They're proof of survival in a business that eats its legends alive. Each one is a timestamp of defiance, a woman aging in reverse, refusing to fade, laughing louder every decade. Pop stars come and go. Icons endure. And Cher? She's still here, rhinestoned, fearless, and singing like the world owes her an encore. Because if there's one thing we've learned from her, it's that strength never goes out of style. You ready? There's another story lined up on the channel.